Here's a question for you. As a car enthusiast, can you enjoy driving a Tiptronic 911? We've had this stunning 996 generation Carrera 4S submitted to shootingbrake.com for auction, and we've grabbed the keys to answer that very question. So to answer that question, we've come to lovely, lovely Richmond in London. And the reason why we're in Richmond and not a set of B roads in the Cotswolds and Wales is because this is what I believe to be the spiritual home of this specification of 911. So to just summarize what this car is, it's a 2002 996.2 Carrera 4S. The S designates a wide body. So this is effectively a turbo body shell without the scoops or the spoiler. It's got the turbo brakes, and turbo-esque wheels are very, very similar wheels. They're just not hollow spoke. And it's got the Carrera engine, which is a 3.6 with about 315 horsepower. And this one has a Tiptronic gearbox, a lovely and extremely rare two-tone cinnamon interior, and a basalt black metallic exterior. The registration is LE02, which designates that this is a London car, registered in London in 2002. So this car has lived pretty much most of its life, if not all of its life, in London. And you can tell it's just spec'd perfectly to be a city cruiser, a luxury city cruiser. Now I've got a 996 myself. I've got what is arguably the polar opposite to this. I've got a 0.1 manual coupe. It's a very low spec car. It's got an LSD. And it's got such a different feel to this. That doesn't feel like a luxury car. That car actually reminds you of like something like an E36. It's quite pared back and it's very driver focused. This immediately feels like a luxury car. It's such a nice item to be around and to be in. And it just really feels at home just cruising around. And that's not to say that it's not got dynamic press. At the end of the day, it is still a 911 Carrera. It's still lovely to drive. The steering is super feelsome. It's a very tactile drive. But more than anything, cruising around with the sunroof open, the windows down, the Bose stereo pumping, we've got a really nice Bluetooth head unit in here. It's such a great way to get around, and it feels so at home doing 20 mile an hour. I'd imagine it feels as at home doing 20 as it does bombing down the country lane. So let's talk about this gearbox first off. It's a torque converter, a 5-speed automatic borrowed from Mercedes. So it's a 722.6 gearbox, it's the same one used in Mercedes W211 E55. It is a fantastic automatic gearbox, a really, really nice automatic gearbox. In my opinion, one of the best of this era. Shifts are crisp and smooth. You can manually shift them on these buttons on the steering wheel, but to be honest, you don't really need to because standard programming is really, really good and it's fairly adaptive, and it does a very good job of predicting what you want from it. The other thing is, with the 3.6 engine compared to the 3.4, you've got loads of low-end torque, and these don't weigh a huge amount. You know, even the Carrera 4S with the wide body is still under 300 kilos. So it's very nippy. You've got acceleration on demand, and you can basically just pick your speed at any given point. The only thing you do miss from the manual is those crisp downshifts. You know, if you want to get it into a corner, you need to think ahead, get its downshift, give it a second or two. But the fact is, again, whilst you can do that in one of these, I really think you can't cross-swap this with a manual. Instead, you should cross-swap this with any other luxury car, BMW 7 Series or an 8 Series, you know, a Mercedes CL, a Bentley Continental. It's one of those cars that you buy just because it's so nice to be in, so nice to look at. And you know, C4S, 996 C4S, arguably one of the best looking 911s ever made. And you might say, well, you can't see it, you know, you can't see the looks while you're driving it, but actually you can, because you sit in this, you see the front haunches curve out in front of you, and you look in the rear view mirror and you see those extra wide rear flanks, and it's such a special feeling. It's very supercar-esque. Yeah, the standard 911 and not the narrow body 911 feels like a sports car. This, especially with automatic gearbox, feels like this kind of retro futuristic supercar with a 4-wheel drive system and the Tiptronic. There's an element of kind of technological prowess about it that even today still stacks up. The fact is, for all intents and purposes, up to about 8/10, you can drive this car in the exact same way that you drive a modern or brand new 911, a 991.2 Carrera 4. You use this in the exact same way. It's only at the upper ends of performance that you would really start to notice. The other thing is, it has to be said, the amount of positive attention this car gets is unreal. People love it. I reckon it's the light bar, the contrast of the cinnamon over the black, and those turbo twists. It's just got such a brilliant visual impact. And it's kind of airless. It looks modern and retro at the same time. It's really quite a timeless design. You know, the 96.1 with the orange indicators looks firmly retro. It's very 90s, which I love. But this looks timeless. In my opinion, it actually looks fresher than the 997. I'm not really sure why. I think it's because of the brilliant silver headlights and the way the whole body kind of flows into one on the 996. It's a very sinuous, seamless design. And there's a lot to be said for buying a sports car as a city cruiser, because you get that tactility even around town. And you get that delicacy in the steering and that general responsiveness that you feel even at 20 mile an hour. It's such a mechanically satisfying thing to drive, and the Autobox doesn't actually take away from that. Look, if you're looking for hedonistic B-road thrills, I think you would get frustrated with the automatic gearbox. But if you want a lovely Porsche to drive around in, to use every day, which you can in this because it's done 140,000 miles, the reserve will reflect that. You would not be able to tell the mileage at all by looking at it. It presents immaculately, it's absolutely stunning, and all of the usual age markers that 996 tend to have, like touches of rust on the rear or cloudy front headlights. This has none of those. It looks showroom fresh, which I think is absolutely amazing. It's quite rare to see these days. But with that mileage, you can buy this as your usable modern classic. It's ULEZ compliant, it's not terrible on fuel, it's small and easy to park. It would just make an incredible day driver. It's fairly practical. You can get people, as long as they're under 5'7", 5'6", you can get people in the back seats. I use my back seats in the 911 all the time. And you can put luggage behind the seats, you can use the frunk up front. It's got decent range. I don't know, I daily mine all the time, and to be honest, the C4S makes for an even better daily. It's more stable, it's better in the wet, and the Tiptronic transmission is just absolutely gorgeous around town, especially in stop-start traffic or when you're just cruising around. It allows the car to just cruise so nicely, so relaxingly at 20 mile an hour, whereas in the manual, you kind of just always want to get through the gears, and they really hate being below kind of 40, 50, so it makes for quite a frustrating drive around town. And on top of that, the point two, especially with the widebody trim, I'm not sure what they did, maybe they added more soundproofing, but it makes for a very refined motorway cruiser. I don't know, I mean, look, I was skeptical, I've always been skeptical of non-turbo Tiptronic 911s, but having driven this, I do get it. It's just a different use case. That's the key, it's just a different use case, but what a compelling car. And given the mileage, this will make a very affordable way into an absolutely iconic shape. I can't overstate how iconic the widebody 996 is. It's just, I don't know why, but it just hits so much harder than the later Carrera 4S's and widebody cars did. That full width light bar, those haunches, it's so supercar-esque. The visual impact is so stunning. And to think that you can get this level of car for most likely under £20,000, I find that absolutely incredible. The fact is, you have to buy on condition, not miles of these, because you can buy one that's done 60,000 miles, but if it's not been serviced and stored correctly, it'll actually be in worse condition than a car that's been driven and serviced regularly. And this car's got a brilliant service history, really strong service history, and it's come from the right kind of owner. We picked this car up from a covered, double-gated garage with a Porsche branded car cover over it. The car's absolutely immaculate when we got it. It was spotless. You can't ask for much more. So if you're interested in this lovely basalt black over two-tone cinnamon Carrera 4S Tiptronic, it's coming live to auction on shootingbrake.com. Shooting Brake is an auction platform run for enthusiasts by enthusiasts. There's two of us who are 996 owners within the company, 4 of us who are Porsche owners. We love these cars, we know these cars, and we can pick our stock to make sure that you're getting the best deal possible. You can have a look at over 100 detailed photographs of this car on the website. You can read through a comprehensive description, go through all the paperwork from the comfort of your phone or your laptop, and inevitably, when you're keen, you can place a bid on the website. Check out the full listing of this car for more information. My name's Galeb, you're watching Shooting Brake. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want more content like this.